Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream Park today. Ron Nicoletti, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. We're starting the day with a fast main track, firm turf course. It's an absolute perfect day to take your dad to the races this afternoon. I hope you come out and join us. If you're in the South Florida area and you're out there in simulcast land, you can watch us on all the different spots. So should be a great day of racing with a fast main track, a firm turf course. Of course, each and every day we get two pick fives, two pick fours, rolling pick threes throughout the afternoon. Lots of wagering to make your Father's Day a winning one. So, as I mentioned at the top, a fast main track, firm turf course, and we have a carryover to a jackpot guarantee, I should say, of $650,000. That's a little later on, our Rainbow Six. So that is races 5 through 10 with this 10 race card this afternoon. Well, it's almost afternoon. It's just a couple of minutes before noon. So let's go right into the first race, and it's on the turf. And as I mentioned at the top, about 7.5 furlongs. The turf is firm, maiden special weight. These are 2-year-olds. Love the 2-year-olds on the turf course. So please note the number 6 was scratched, and the number 9 is going to get in and run this afternoon. And you can just look. It's very early in the wagering, but you can just see that the board is wide open right now, but things will change. I'm sure the tepid favorite right now is the number 5, Into Touring, who's a daughter of tourist out of the Into Mischief mare, Smoking Mischief, debuting for Mark Cassie. String of consistent workouts showing on both turf and dirt up at Palm Meadows. The barn is like a 5 for 8 with 2-year-olds with their freshman runners. They've just been doing great. Edwin Gonzalez, another multiple win day yesterday. He'll be in the saddle. But she's a filly facing the boys this afternoon, so we'll see how that plays out. But when you're 2-year-olds, I never take too much stock in that, especially if a horse, is working well, because they're babies, and this is the time. If you're going to try the colts with a good 2-year-old filly, might be a time. Number 3, More Adventurous, is a son of More Than Ready, debuting for trainer David Fawkes with a solid turf breeding, really on both sides of the family tree. MCL Jaramillo will be in the saddle, so really bred nicely for the turf. One other horse we'll touch on is the one, Union Freedom, who's a son of Violence, debuting for trainer Ralph Nix with 6 local workouts showing in preparation for his first start. Edgar Zayas is going to hop aboard this afternoon. Got to deal with that inside post when you're a 2-year-old, going about 7.5 on the turf. It's a tough task, but if anybody can do it, it's the connections of Ralph Nix and Edgar Zayas. We're on the dirt for race number 2. It's a 1-mile claiming event for 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds and up that have not won 2 races, $35,000 down to $25,000. And we had a scratch in here, pretty significant scratch of the number 6 Hercules. So we'll be dealing with a 5-horse field in race number 2, and this starts the first of 2 pick 4s on the afternoon. I went with the number 3 horse in here, and that is Kiger, who's dropping to the 35 level on the main track. Now you go back, first start since failing to handle, but that was 75 allowance optional claimers, and it was going on a mile on the turf during February. Safi Joseph Jr. just been incredible as far as leading trainer goes, and he's pretty solid with the turf to dirt angle, about 30%. And he's got this Peachtree homebred son of Verrazano working sharply for the return. I think it's a good spot with this non-winners of 2 in life. The number 2, Hard Lighting, is the morning line favorite in here, and this one should have the screws tight, you would think, this afternoon after returning from about a 5-month layoff to finish a track the pace third against 25 optional claimers going a mile. Victor Barboza Jr., about 20% with horses making the second start back from similar layoffs, is the trainer of the number 2, Hard Lighting. And then number 4, Bernu, if you like, Safi Joseph Jr., he's got 2 of the 5 horses in here. This one gets some class relief, and this one's interesting when you're dealing with these compact fields. You go back, you should look at his last race. He chased the pace, he faded. That was against Better. There's 25 optional claimers going 3/4 of a mile. I think this one is the pace factor in this compact field. We saw a similar race yesterday when we only had 4 horses, and the speed, does well in those spots. So keep that one. And, of course, I guess it will be the longer price of the Safi Joseph Jr. uncoupled entry. We're going to go to race number 3. We're staying on the fast main track. It's a 7-furlong event, maiden claimers, 3-year-olds and up. Full field of 10 with no scratches or jockey changes. And it sort of looks like here, this is one of the races that I call a head scratcher. I mean, the logical one is Dr. Roger. He's stretching out the 7 furlongs again, hoping this latest distance switch helps him improve. He's been burning chalk lately, so, you got to take it with a grain of salt. He's had many chances. He's been favored, I think, in consecutive races. Juan C. Avila, he's got MSC El Jaramillo handling the added distance today, so maybe it's as simple as trying the 7/8 again to get this horse over the top. Didn't know what to do. You look at the drop on the number 10, Staten Island, who's free falling to this level we're talking about of $12,500 on the main track. He faced maiden special weight competition with little success on the turf. Jeff Angler, Victor LeBron atop. So we'll call it a little bit of a shaky proposition. Was facing considerably tougher on the turf. You see this a lot of times, just putting the horse where they belong. We'll see if Staten Island can get it done today on the big drop and the surface switch. And number 3, Trini John, who's stretching out to 7/8 of a mile. Rallied to finish second. He was only beaten the neck last time out against the same level of competition that is going 7 furlongs. Mario Fuentes will be in the saddle this afternoon, and Mario Fuentes, we'll see how he handles what the pace scenario might be. If you're looking for horses that ran well in the last start, it's definitely number 3 horse in here, and that is Trini John. We're going to race number 4, and it's a 5.5 furlong sprint on the main track. Pretty nice field in here, and these are allowance optional claimers. They're fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. The optional claiming price is $62,500. And we got an old buddy of ours in here, a horse that I really like, and that is Herrisol, the number 4, who's back in the allowance optional claiming ranks after returning from the freshening to track the pace that day and weekend to finish 4th. That was in the 6.5 furlong musical romance last time out. Terry Pompey, Miguel Vasquez, upsetting in the stake yesterday with a 30-1 shot. Not surprised. I forget the name. Oh, I got it right here. Starship Enterprise with the N. So that was the winner of that race. Paid, as I said, 30-1 shot. So I just thought that Herrisol. We're going to show you stat actually on Terry Pompey. Horse is making the second start off a 45 to 180 day layoff over the last 3 years. Win percentage 12 for 51, 24%. In the money 51% of the time, and a real nice return of investment of $3.41. And this one is just, you cruise down this horse's past performances, doesn't miss many dances in stakes competition. So I think going back to the allowance optional claiming ranks is going to be good for Herrisol. Well, talking about that upset winner yesterday, this was trained by Steve Dwoskin. He's got the 1 horse in here, and this is Starship Nala. Most of their horses have that Starship in their name somewhere. This one being, as I said, Starship Nala, cutting back to this distance and breaking from the rail this afternoon after making that 4-wide bid last time out to get, it was good. Got the lead, actually, in that race before finishing 3rd against those same kind of allowance runners, 62,500 optional claimers. That was going 7/8 of a mile. I mentioned Steve Dwoskin had the upset winner of our stake yesterday to Martha Washington, and Victor LeBron handled the daughter of Cape Beston. And then the number 3, Foolish Heart, who's another one going to turn back to this abbreviated 5.5 furlong distance and getting some class relief today after setting a pressured early pace and weakening to finish 4th. That was against $75,000 allowance optional claimers, and that was going 6.5 furlongs. So they targeted this horse in a good spot with the 5.5 furlongs, slight drop in competition. So number 3, Foolish Heart on the board, I think at 5-1 or thereabouts. So we'll see how the horse runs, but I think Herrisol is going to class him up nicely in here. With that said, being race 4, we'll take a short break. When we come back, and we'll have the Rainbow 6 for you today.
the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream. Today, Ron Nicoletti here on a really nice Father's Day. We got a fast-main track firm turf course, and we have a $650,000 jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six. We had an interesting day yesterday. We did not have a winner with 6 out of 6, and I believe 5 out of 6 paid like $1,600. It was a tough day to handicap. As I mentioned a couple of times when I was handicapping the earlier races, I mentioned that upset winner in the stake race that knocked a lot of people out. Starship Enterprise was that the horse paid $60 or $70 in there. So now let's take a look at my Rainbow Six ticket today, and it is $43.20, a number I'm pretty comfortable with as far as my wallet is concerned. I did go 3 deep in here with the number 9 Luna Blast, Defendant, and the 10 Bella Gabriella, so 1, 9, and 10 for me. 2 deep in race number 6 with Ali Z and Sassy Justice. In race number 7, I went only 2 deep in here. I like Awesome Anne-Marie. That's my best bet on the day. I'll tell you why. But you can't leave off the hard-knocking Liza Star, who's going to break from the inside. Wow, great betting race in race number 8 with Sugar Fix. Got speed in there with Djibouti Kaba, so got a lot of speed in that race, and a couple of really nice stalkers and closers. 2 deep in race 9 with Collaborate and Camboxis Candy, and I went to 3 deep in last. I got a little interest in the number 2 Mission Brief, who I believe is 8 to 1 in the morning line, trained by Tim Ham. So we'll see how that plays out as we get through the rest of this card. I'll explain to you about my best bet and my long shot. So going back to this race, Luna Blast, going to go back and show you this horse's last performance. We're going to show this horse in the beginning, just breaking slowly out of there, is the number 7 this afternoon. You're just going to see it's one of those days you just don't, the 2 and the 7 sort of had to put the brakes on. 2 really had the worst of it, but the 7-2 had to come back. They sort of squeezed up. And, you're behind the 8 ball right there, but I thought this horse ran pretty well to come on late and, closes to finish 3rd. I just thought it was a good performance, as you're going to see now. It's tough to make up the ground when you're, when you break slowly like that, whether it's your fault or not, as far as getting shut off. But I thought this horse was very game, down there on the inside. You're going to see does not give up through the lane, and it didn't look like the horses were really slowing in front of her. So I thought it was a good performance, and I think with a cleaner break, Rohan Crichton is the trainer, and Miguel Vasquez will be in the saddle. Then the inside horse in here, number 1, Defendant. And this one drops, moves to the rail today after debuting locally into the David Fawkes barn. Showed some brief speed in that race, and weakened to finish 6th behind the aforementioned. Comes out of the same race as Luna Blast. This is a daughter of Gone Astray who should move forward in her 2nd outing over the local terrain here. 2nd time for David Fawkes. I'm expecting improvement in that horse. And it went to the outside, almost not all the way to the outside, but almost to the outside with number 10, Bella Gabriella, who's turning back to 7/8 of a mile. She tracked the pace, finished a workmanlike 2nd, going a mile last time out. Catherine Davey has Gaudiel Martinez handling the turn back in distance this afternoon. So that is race number 5 for me to kick off the Rainbow Six. Let's turn the page and go to race number 6 today. And race number 6, I got the wire hooked up on me here. Let me get that out of the way. Somehow I got the wire hooked up on my hand here. Race number 6 is where the late pick 5 is going to kick off. As I mentioned earlier in the show, we got 2 pick 5s today. This one is in race number 6, and it's about 7.5 furlongs on the turf. These are fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, non-winners of a race since December 20th, $16,000. So one of these dated claimers. And number 8, Ali Z, drops into this dated claimer, as I was mentioning, and turning back to the about 7.5 furlong distance after making a move last time out to get the lead before flattening out and finishing 4th. That was a hard knocking field of $20,000 claimers going 8.5 furlongs, mile in the 16th on the turf for Marcial Navarro, Edgar Zayas in the irons. I think this is a much better spot for this horse this afternoon. Sassy Justice has been knocking on the door in consecutive races at this level and distance. And you would think just needs a little luck here, a little push from Lady Luck to get her picture taken. Anna Varsi's the trainer. You got Miguel Vasquez named to ride. Miguel's on a lot of live horses this afternoon, so we'll see how he does. And then you got the number 6, and that's Naimu's Treasure. Has recently turned finishing third and sort of to like an art form. This horse always seems to finish third in its races and looking for her first victory since 2019, but she's always there. You can't leave her off the exotic tickets. Mary Epler had a winner on yesterday's card, and you got a good jock, a strong finisher, and Edwin Gonzalez, who rode this horse very well. So this one is just going to get some luck to break through, as I mentioned, being stuck in third gear for a little while. So Ali Z, 8, the 3, Sassy Justice, the number 6, Naimu's Treasure in that dated claimer. Race number 7 this afternoon is a 6-furlong allowance optional claimer. These are fillies and mares, 3-year-olds up, or the optional claiming price of $25,000. And we'll start off with my best bet in the day, and you would probably figure it out by now if you watch my analysis. I'm going to find a key race somewhere. And listen to this. Awesome Anne Marie has lived up to her name recently when posting impressive back-to-back victories, including her last when she drew clear. She defeated 3 next-out winners in that 12-5 state-bred optional claimer at the distance. Herbert Miller is the trainer. Jose Morelos will be in the saddle. So it's one of my favorite angles, key race. I thought this horse would maybe get a little bit of a price this afternoon on it because I think a lot of the money is going to go to the inside horse in here, and that is Liza Star. This one's in for the $25,000 tag in this optional claimer. She breaks from the rail, and she sort of rekindled her back class when she used her speed. She defeated those 12-5 optional claimers at her most accomplished distance. You can say that. She had 22 races at this distance with 8 wins, 5 thirds. She is a 12-time local winner. And I think this is a good spot for her, and she's got that speed on the inside. While we're talking about speed on the inside, if you watched the races here yesterday, and it's not usually the case, but it looks like horses that closed down the center of the track had the most best chances of winning yesterday. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Today, it's hard to gauge what the, bias will be like until you watch 3 or 4 races. Just thought I'd throw that out. I want to show you a couple of horses that are in this race, one being Brambleberry and one being Merseyside. This was in the musical Romance. And first we're going to show you Merseyside, who I use a little further down, really has to put on the brakes to number 3 in there. It just, has to has to try and get some room, really gets knocked off stride there a little bit. And I just thought that might hurt. So I was, I didn't know whether to use the 2 Brambleberry, who's the 8 that day, and the 3 Merseyside that afternoon. And then Brambleberry just runs very well in this race. So, at the big price, 18-1, I thought this horse ran very well, being the number 8 there, and I thought this horse was right there. Merseyside didn't run badly either after having that trouble, and that horse was 30-1 that day. So these are 2 bombers that ran very well. So here's what the reason I wanted to show it. There you see Brambleberry, and then you see Merseyside. Merseyside had the excuse in that race. It wasn't beaten that badly. Now, those were both outsiders in there. We'll see how they run this afternoon with clean trips for both of them, and I don't think you can get those kind of prices today. Race number 8 is a mile on the turf. As I mentioned earlier, this is, I think, a great betting race. Allowance optional claimer, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, or the optional tag of $62,500. Number 8, Sugar Fix, looks like the logical choice in here. She does her best running from a stalking position, and I think she sits a perfect trip behind what appears to me to be a strong early pace scenario. Saffy Joseph Jr., Edgar Zayas going for 2 in a row at this mile distance. Now, why do I think there's so much speed? Because one of the horses that's in this race is the 6, Japudi Kaba, who leaves little doubt as to what her running tactics will be. She's a speedy daughter of City Zip. She's going to be running and gunning as soon as they pop the gate latch today. Jenna Antonucci, Angel Arroyo trying to turn the tables on Sugar Fix. So we'll see. I see other speed in this race. Is that going to compromise Japudi Kaba and get a horse like the number 8 Sugar Fix to sit that perfect trip today? But also want to show you the performance of number 5, Drapes. We're going to pick up the stretch drive. And just thought Drapes ran exceptionally well in there. 7-2 for Tom Proctor. You got this horse horse has got to prove today can handle the jump up to the $62,500 level. Edwin Gonzalez that day going for 2 in a row. So this horse ran pretty well in that race. So I think that this horse has a shot in there. And Tom Proctor's got 2 in the race. So we'll see how that plays out. But I just thought that horse might be the one in there, even though it's stepping up. The other one is a Global Brand, who is his other runner in that particular race. So Sugar Fix looks like the horse is going to sit the trip. But we've seen Japuti Kaba go up there and not look back. So, we got some speed. You got Drapes, who ran well. That's why I said it's probably the best betting race on the card, at least in my estimation. Race number 9 this afternoon is a 1 mile allowance optional claimer for 3-year-olds. Another nice race, the optional claiming price of $75,000. Some nice horses in this race. And I went with the number 2, Collaborate, who broke his maiden going a mile. Don't forget that now. So he stretches out after rebounding. He was just sort of an ambitious outing in the Grade 1 Florida Derby. Comes back, runs third in the 6.5 furlong Roar Stakes. Safi Joseph Jr., Ed Gonzalez. Look at this. It's a $600,000 son of Into Mischief. Into Mischief, one of my favorite sires over the last year or two. So we'll see how this horse runs. I like the fact that the horse has proven it could run at a mile. I think it was a perfect setup last time. Connection's thought enough for this horse to give it a try in the Florida Derby. So we'll see how it runs. Horse you might get a little bit of a price on is the one Camboxis Candy, who's hoping to get away cleanly in his second consecutive start from the rail. Was really compromised last time out. Stumbled and bumped, went fourth at this level and distance for David Forks. Miguel Vasquez, as I mentioned throughout the card, is on some live horses today. And this one could get a clean break, could be very dangerous, but once again, got to deal with the pitfalls associated with that inside post. And look at the class of this horse in here, the filly, the Princess Secret, the number 4. This one won the 7 furlong Susan's Girl and the mile in the 16th. $400,000, my dear girl, during her stellar freshman campaign. She's going to face the boys. She rallied to finish third against those $75,000 fillies, going 6.5 furlongs last time out. Owner, trainer Dan Peter has Lionel Reyes atop. It's certainly his stable star. This horse was pretty nice during its 2-year-old campaign. Going to face the boys this afternoon, and I think had a perfect setup last time with that race at 6.5 furlongs. I think the mile, and like I said, this one's proven at a mile in the 16th, albeit back in a 2-year-old campaign. Race number 10 this afternoon. The number 2, Mission Brief, is the horse that I believe is 8-1 on the morning line that I had some interest in. He's going to cut back to the mile. He returned from the freshman. Well, let's go show you what happens when he turns for home. He just moves out, and he just gets, you just see him right there. He's the number 3. And, like it happens a lot on this turf course, you got to find somewhere to go, and he's got to really swing out wide here to get going. He thought he had a room, lane to go into, so he didn't, and he closed, and he's going. I thought ran well, so I thought you could see him coming to your picture now. He thought he tried well. I'm looking for a little bit of a long shot. There's Mission Brief. Just keeps running. I like the fact that the horse keeps running, even though he got parked ride. Edwin Gonzalez, an aggressive rider, I think is going to help this afternoon. Tim Ham had a victory on yesterday's card. So if you're looking for a little bit of a price, got to carve out the trip. And also, if you watched the turf racing here yesterday, it looked like maybe the horses in the middle paths doing what that horse was trying to do in that race had a slight edge in that yesterday afternoon. We'll see if it plays that way because we've had warm sun, no rain over the last couple of days, so it's certainly tightening up the turf course. Because prior to that, we had a couple of days of pretty good rain here, but that is not the case yesterday or today. Number 3, Jarlian, is dropping to the $16,000 level after returning from a layoff. This one went up and prompted the pace, finished third against 25 maidens. That was going a mile in the 16th for Oscar Gonzalez. He's got Lionel Reyes handling the cut back to the mile today. And then traceability. I was a little amazed that Linebacker did a good job. I thought I would get a better price on traceability. Almost made this one my long shot. But second choice on the board, I thought I found the sneaky. He's coming back as a gelding. Makes his first start since showing promise on the turf against better. before going to the sidelines last July. Joe Cantonese, Jonathan Gonzalez won the nightcap yesterday. He's one of my favorite riders, a good kid. He topped his son of Munning. So I thought maybe that would be my long shot, but I opted for Mission Brief. So another good race to end the day. And, of course, that's where you hope you're alive in the Rainbow Six or the Elite Pick 5. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm going to take a short break, and then we're going to have our lightning round.
Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new Mobile Pass Performances. Access the most trusted information in horse racing, including exclusive buyer speed figures and DRF analysis and selections. Experience the new mobile optimized DRF Pass Performances on your phone from anywhere at any time. Go to drf.com/now. Use coupon code NOW to get a free single card and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti took a drink of water while we were on the break, so I feel I'm charged up to do the lightning round here. And I was sort of tipping this performance of Starship Enterprise yesterday in the Martha Washington. We're going to go back and revisit the stretch call. And you're just going to see there was 3 horses right at the wire. You know, the 9-5, Karakatsi, Hanalima was there. And this horse just was very game in there to come and win it. And it was just a game performance. 3 horses at the wire and just gets its nose in front. And, of course, lights up the turf board and ended the day having 5 or 6 in the Rainbow Six. That was one of the reasons why. You know, we always mention having great 2-year-old races, and boy, did we have a wild one yesterday with this 2-year-old Del Griffin. We're going to go back and show you this stretch run of this horse. You're going to see it here. Just comes up. You're going to say, well, where is it? I don't see it, this 2-year-old. You're going to see it in a second. It looks like the filly, the 6 single lady, was going to win it, and this horse just comes flying through the stretch. Now, if you go back and have time to look at this race, this one was up on the lead for a little bit, then dropped back and came flying like that, and was a pretty good performance. That was the one trained by Tim Hem. And this horse, great name. It's by Candy Ride, and the horse's name is Del Griffin. And if you know that movie, or Trains, Planes, and Autos, that's the character played by John Candy in that race. He's I believe he's a shower curtain salesman or something like that in the race. So pretty good name right there. One of these new young guns got his 100th victory the other day, and that was Carlos David. It was Friday's last race, so we're going to go back and revisit getting this 100th victory. He's a good trainer, and it didn't take him long to get these 100 victories, and this one was very impressive, winning the nightcap at a pretty square price of 6-1. And as I mentioned, congratulations to Carlos David and his team for his 100th victory in his very, very short career thus far, so he's doing good. And now I just want to take the time to wish all the dads out there a very happy Father's Day. It's going to be a great day here if you're out at Gulfstream Park, and we're just going to enjoy the day. So good luck, and we'll be back here throughout the afternoon trying to give you some useful insights.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round off first inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 yards out. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.